Good day, Internet, and welcome to the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I am your host for the evening. My name is Advocate of Words. Happy Monday to everyone. Let me see them beautiful faces. There's them beautiful faces. And there's my beautiful face, all for Big Brother to watch us. Yes, I am very excited about tonight's theme. I love me a good conspiracy. I'm into all the theories of it. Some of the stuff is a little too far out there for me, but then, there's some stuff in history that's real. Tuskegee experiments, the Gulf of Tonkin, certain blankets we talk about in history. If that was around, they would have been called conspiracy theorists. They would have been calling the natives of this land conspiracy theorists. Putting smallpox in blankets, you conspiracy theorists. And now we're living in a day and age where they're talking about censoring our text messages. It's crazy. It's crazy. Nonetheless, I want to hear about your conspiracy theories or real conspiracies that have affected you and all that good stuff. I see some of us have our makeup on. I'm excited about that. I see some of us have new hair colors. Holy cow, this is great. I see some of us have different backgrounds. You got to move, man. Big Brother's watching. You got to move. All right, let's get to it because we know Big Brother's watching and they're getting impatient. This is the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New Eurekan Poets Cafe, Volume 2, Edition 15. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube, so Zuckerberg and the Google aliens can keep an eye on us. If you would like to check out and see what Zuckerberg and the Google aliens are watching on us, you can go to our Facebook and YouTube page. That is where our past open mics are. That is where the recording of this open mic is going to be. If you would like to join us on Zoom, the number is 279-995-364. We cannot guarantee that Zuckerberg and the Google aliens will not find you here on Zoom, but we're all here. We're trying to make the best of it. 279-995-364. I'd like to thank the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York State Council on the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, Amazon Literary Partnership, and the New York Community Trust for sponsoring our free online events so Zuckerberg and the Google aliens can watch us. You too can help support us with a tax-deductible donation at www.neweurekan.org/contribute, or you can go and send it to our Cash App, New Eurekan Poets Cafe, and I assure you that Zuckerberg and the Google aliens get none of that money sent to us. Tonight, conspiracy. Notice I didn't say theory. If you want to talk about real conspiracy, you can. If you want to talk about conspiracy theory, you can. If you want to talk about your own conspiracy that you may have concocted when you were younger, you totally can. Next week, our theme is Thirst Trap. It is our 69th episode. What else are we going to do? Thirst Trap. You can see all of our future themes up until September 13th, so you can get ahead on the write-in. If you take a look, September 6th is our 75th open mic. We have no theme that night, but it's a 2-minute special. You're only going to get 2 minutes to rock because I want to get to everybody on the waiting list. And for the first time, I'm hoping, the goal is, I would like to be able to just pull someone out from Zoom who didn't sign up. We never get to do that here, so I want to try to do that on September 6th. All of this beautiful information you can find on my Instagram, my Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. I make it easy for Big Brother to watch me. I'm an attention whore. At Advocate of Words, you look me up when you spell words, that's with a Z, WORDZ, at Advocate of Words. All right, some quick rules. Number 1, poets who are performing, turn your camera on. If it is a problem, go clean up your room. You got enough time. A bunch of the people who are coming up first usually have clean rooms, so they're not going to need that extra time. If you need to, we want to see your face. We want to simulate this like it's a real open mic. Please have your poem ready, as we have a lot of people on the open mic, and everyone knows I like to get to the waiting list. We are supposed to be done at 10 o'clock Eastern. We're always finishing around 10:30. I'm using extra time to get to more people, so please have your poem ready. Be considerate. Poems only 4 minutes long. No epic poems. This is not your feature. It's an open mic. And the thing is, at the end of the day, if you're going over 4 minutes, you're not personally hurting me. You're hurting the other people on the open mic. So please, No censorship. Zuckerberg and the Google aliens do enough of that. No censorship. You've been warned. Unmute yourself after the poem and make some noise for the poet. Listen, if Alexa is listening to you, then you should let the poet listen to you as you get excited over your poem. When you get asked to unmute yourself, unmute yourself. All right. Shout out to Siri. Stick to the theme, but you don't have to. I get it. You need to pay bills. They're going to come after you if you tell the truth. If you are not on theme, it is okay. We still want to hear your poem. We're going to make room for you. So we actually have a treat. Later on, we are going to hear a poem from Vale Larkin. And Vale, we got a video coming from Vale. I don't want to say anything more about it until we get to it. But with all that being said, we're ready to go. And we are going to start with Amanda. I love Amanda's background. That lime green, it just pops. You know, for some reason, that color just makes me think of Puerto Rico, right? Like for some reason, it just does. Amanda, let the people know where Big Brother is watching you from on social media, and then let's hear your poetry.
Thank you. You can hear me okay, right? Okay, cool. Just making sure. That's all I really care about. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Medium, Amanda Ashley Villanueva. I'm going to get straight to my piece. I'm nervous as fuck, but we're going to get through this. Shout out to Ray Jane for like mothering me through this poem. It's deep, but we're going to get through it. Trigger warning for all the things. Honored to open this space, by the way. It's been like the 4th, 5th week. I don't know, but let's go. Logic and theory take the D train. Oh, how I despise my words these days. How they sound cliche, petty, and filled to the brim with backhanded envy, riding on empty waves, softly surfing these adjectives so that in this town you can finally put the blade down. Leaking frowns stand up tall as all that we know for an hour or so. Juggling red blood and blue balls, do I need to call heaven for a measuring cup? Is this abyss actually the mistress of bliss waiting to rape me? Can I wish for immortality with the same breath enslaved out of me? Because the tar of my lungs is now oozing through my tear ducts at this function, barely functioning, writing jokes of how you broke me into a cloud, how we finessed this hopeless place into a romantic date of damsel in disaster, how cancer rang for my mom with the same voice it called for yours, how being on all fours is the only medicine I prefer, how I mold the girth of your livelihood's earth in the fan of these trembling hands, how your eyes burned a slow sunrise with no sunscreen, how the only conspiracy is that your poem isn't about me, even if I love all bodies, because jealousy engulfed me as I planted a new cherry tree named after a dead baby. There be no maybe when your clipped wing ricochets the main vein. There be no oxygen mask for this task of genocide. There be no pride left, but I need another show back to the home that I know like the back of my hand. Your sand frozen now. I devoted now to nothing, to loving the bottom of your page, the corner of your stage where you left blue sage to put in my coffin. Ever so often, logic tells me to stop my shit. But we just getting started. Even if tomorrow you wake up heartless too. What the fuck is a soul sucks blue? If not still remarkable, if Kali says drown, then I'll say, how low do you want me to go to lick, to come back to this trick of Lucky Charms? This farm was owned by rapists who couldn't make sense of this royal hue, but my clock hits 222, and I remember to forget the blood moon I consumed without consent. I bet to get the last laugh, but it's not even about that. This map deletes all theories of you and me, of you and God, the facade of fatal destiny. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give some love to Amanda.
Amanda, very nice.
That's how you do that.
That's the way to
Hey,
do
y'all.
it.
Really well done.
Hey, oh, jeez.
This is why I call her an orca, man. You're looking at her and she got such a beautiful smile, but them teeth are sharp. She will cut you with a compliment. Make sure that you go give Amanda a follow. She has also been very much a part of us doing like offline stuff. There is one event she messed up though. She was supposed to dance and she didn't dance, but she is such a pleasure to be around. Make sure you go give her a follow. Okay. Vale is supposed to be next, but I still got to get the video ready. So I'm going to skip ahead one and we're going to go to the withdrawn. And then I'm going to go back to Vale. Where is the withdrawn? There he is. There's the beard, the magnificent beard growing in. Loving it. The withdrawn. Please let the people know where Big Brother follows you online. And then let's hear your poetry.
Thank you. Y'all can follow me at The Withdrawn on Instagram and thewithdrawn.com. I apologize. I'm not on theme. I want to share this piece. Yeah, I know you've heard it before, but yeah, just a reminder to ourselves. It's called How Are You? Like for real, for real. Check in with yourself. Look in the mirror, into your eyes, and ask yourself, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Sometimes we are too busy checking in with others that we fail to recognize that we need checking too. Talk to yourself out loud. Look at your posture, your lips, the muscles in your face. Stand naked. Pay attention to the ways your body reacts as you speak. Try looking at yourself in silence as well. And let your eyes do all the talking. Acknowledge the great things going on in your life while remembering to acknowledge the hardships. For it is all a part of this life on earth that you are blessed to have. Don't be afraid to smile. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to tell yourself, I love you. Remember to care and be there for yourself just as much as you are for other people. Don't neglect the being you spend the most time with. Be sure every now and then to ask yourself, how are you? And do what you must to tend to your heart. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Let's give some love to the withdrawn.
Withdrawn, very nice.
Withdrawn.
For us.
It was good.
Sensitive.
You never know what you're going to get from this dude. At the withdrawn, thewithdrawn.com. You know, sometimes you got to look in the mirror and say, I love you, right? Shoot, man, with all these selfies we taking of each other so the Google aliens can see what we're up to, we should be saying some nice things to ourselves while we're doing it. You're so beautiful. Yes, I am. Okay, next coming up, we're going to Vale Larkin, okay? Vale is going to put their information into the chat. So let me tell you what's going on here. In fact, let me set this up, make sure I have my sound on, share sound. Yep, it's ready. So here's the deal, okay? So for those who don't know, Vale is disabled, and in addition to being a wheelchair user, Vale has a neurological condition that is resulting in a reduction of their vocal control and ability. So as a way to stay active and to continue working in the performance spaces, Vale's working on a project exploring disability, ability, grief, and transformation. Now, this first video that we're going to see is the first video in the series that uses poetry programmed into an AI voice. And the recordings are from Vale's days as a classical singer. Isn't that awesome? Vale's a classical singer. Vale, thanks you for watching today. If you're unfamiliar with opera, Vale was a high soprano So you want to turn the volume down a bit. I don't know what that is, but make sure we turn the volume down just a bit, and to compensate for the dynamic range. And if you are familiar with the opera, Vale says that they were 22 in this one, so don't judge. So I guess to the trained ear, maybe Vale's trying to tell us it's bad. Nonetheless, Vale is a treasured member of our community, a mainstay here at the Monday Night Online Open Mic. Vale is a fantastic writer. And because of this condition that they're currently having to endure, Vale, like it said, Vale's been trying to figure out different ways to experiment to still be heard. And like, how can I call myself advocate of words and not be like, yo, we're gonna experiment? So without further ado, here is Vale's poem, Once There Was.
Once there was a singer, shouting glory to the skies, flying free on currents of harmony, and the vibrations of the scope of life, heard only in the ecstasy of voices joined together, all in concert, all in tune with one another, and no need for any lesser resonance. Once there was a dancer, not the sylph-like sirens that you might imagine, but the raw-bone rage of the prey, casting their snares to capture their tormentors. They have no need for meat. Their ecstatic spinning conjures nourishment, but nearly the same from revenge, as common food.
If a boy said hello, I would hide, trembling so, trembling so. Now I barely know what the meaning of no is.
Once there was an actor, sunk deep in the essence of their obsessions, each new face, every changed gait, the mythology of memory and passion. They sometimes lost themselves in the ebb and flow of manufactured reality. These days were so different.
Past and audience I stare. What is gold is all the bats touch my hair. All the boys turn to men, all the leaves change again, change again, change again. Still I answer yes, though I know what will happen.
There's a violin that's fading. There's a weaving loom collapsing. There are paths untrod and cliffs not climbed, and lace untwisted, concerts missed, and everything that ever was, and never will be ever, ever.
These phases come and go. Music tells me what I need to know.
Now they are. Now they are. Now they are.
Oh, snap. Wait. Let me unmute everyone. Let me unmute it. Everyone unmute yourselves and make some noise.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Wow.
Wow.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Beautiful. So beautiful, Vale.
So beautiful.
Peace.
Vale Larkin. And then Vale just had to end it with like, yeah, check out my green hair. I'm fly, ain't I? Make sure you go give Vale a follow on Facebook and on Instagram, Vale Larkin. We are going to continue to, well, Vale's doing the heavy lifting. I'm just saying, yeah, bring it on over here to Monday night. Vale is going to continue on with the series and working on stuff and gonna update me with this, with everything that they're doing. And then, you know, we're gonna try to keep making sure that to fit it in here on Monday night online open mic. Vale Larkin, VAYL Larkin, LARKIN. Go give them a follow. Ooh, that was good, man. That was good. I like that. Okay, let's keep it moving. I keep getting messages from people giving up their spots. So real quick, Jeremy and Roz, you have been moved into the guaranteed open mic list. I hope you are here. And I think I got a message from Nathaniel Beck as well, giving passing on their spot. I believe so. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to my messages. Next up is the honey trap of the Monday Night Online open mic. The man who just held his first workshop officially on his own under the New York banner, and that is Mr. Paul Conqueso. Paul, where is Big Brother spying on you? And then let's hear your poetry.
Jersey, where the storm gods are in the building, men who heal here, and Voltron be rising. No shouts to Vagatron. No shouts to Vagatron. Oh, so yeah, thanks to everybody who came to my workshop Saturday. It was literally an out-of-body transcendent experience for me. So I value all y'all who came so infinitely. And yeah, I'm gonna just launch into my piece. Also, Honey Trap is sticking, I guess. So I'm not mad at that. It's all right, Advocate. This piece I wrote entirely today. I'm nervous about it, but fuck it, let's go. Instead of conspiracy, I'm spitting a lot of truth. This is called La Aberración. Call us paranoid, but the fruits of these tangled roots, tainted trees, the labors of this scathingly bloodied soil are not at all a con, but a spear. See, this theory is more lobs to alley-oop of uncouth truths, unburied and unearthed from iron-rich dirt of history's anesthetized operating rooms. Tombs for children taken too soon, and the shovels shedding light on remains of such, the bone and body artifact of tiny lives robbed from indigenous schools, used as experiments for tuberculosis testing. See, generationally, the oppressed have been placed in parallel pens, plantations, internment camps, barrios, ghettos, whatever you call these synonymous Guantanamo bays. It's been obvious the aim has always been to eradicate, archaeology them, make into history ancient as any extinct animal, crack into that soft-shelled exoskeleton and suck the meat clean. Crabs in a barrel-chested bucket of breasts with fingers licked clean from Kentucky fucking fried, platanos plucked, tostone before ripe. This has always been by design. The plot to flood streets, overdose them with poverty, drugs, and disease, then punish with imprisonment, bound to cells where they can toil and labor again, recycle foundations of nation built on slavery as pigs keep pens packed with poison wells of their ink. Even inspiration leaks contaminants to drink, cause my mama was raised in the era when clean water was only served to the fairest skin. But what's changed then? Flint, Michigan still has deadly traces of lead 7 years after the fact. Newark, Baltimore, Irvington, all poisoned at source. Children once again targeted by lead-filling bodies left the chamber with no need for gunpowder. See, the silencer is no one gets a word in edgewise, because I guess of who it's happening to. Our black, brown youth, and they're tapping our rations to restock militaries, filling up lead in myriad ways. A plethora of surplus cadavers to stack in colonnade high, offering, getting us high off our own supplies just to spite us like Tuskegee redux, but I won't guzzle or slurp what they pump without asking first. See, I don't lap from a well unidentified haphazardly, won't draw the wet from you without you first asking, please. You see, as leaders and as followers, but I'd rather be a dick than a swallower. You see, as leaders and as swallowers, but I'd rather be a dick than a follower. I throw these Maybach cleats, I wear my heart on the sleeve. I know that we the new slaves. I see the blood on the leaves. I see the blood on the leaves. I see the blood on the leaves. I know that we the new slaves. I see the blood on the leaves. They throwing hate at me, want me to stay at ease. Fuck you and your corporation. Y'all can't control me. Meanwhile, the DEA teamed up with the CCA. They trying to lock folks up. They trying to make new slaves. See, that's that privately owned prison. Get your piece today. Let me not even start on new slavery prison wages at 3 cents a day, but see if we don't get new clothes shipped from Banana Republic or Shein, we be in this overseas era of child labor like it doesn't take a whole Sierra Leone to make blood diamond of you. Shine, it's true. You can see the plasma of nascent hands in that wash gently tag. You can taste the pungent bouquet of consumerist abuse when you sip unlimited cocktails on your Expedia trip to the Caribbean, because what is happening to our people in Cuba or Puerto Rico is nothing new. These ain't conspiracies or theories. They're modus operandi, old as time, forms of genocide, eugenics. I must reiterate, because the pillage of this motherland at father's hand leaves bodies barren, and they just trying to capitalize, imperial pillage and sacrifice and break Taino lives until their bloodlines dripping through wombs. Again, still, all y'all tend to boil boricuas down to is twerk and fuck. En el pereo no se quita, fumo se pone bellaquita, te necesita, pero por ahora está solita, ella pereo sola, ella pereo sola, ella pereo sola. Sure. You can see the jiggle in their thighs, but can you recognize that the base of all life came from Atabe, her pregnant belly, and not the pussy she could pop for Ban's ass that grows fat, but the spirit of all horizontal water, lakes and sea, marine tides defining prime matter and all that's tangible. She conceived twin sons without even needing intercourse. So for once realized men are dicks, are myths of Adam's ribs are not needed here. And since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman and our game from a woman, I wonder, why do we take from our women? Why we rape our women? Do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, be real to our women. And if we don't have a race of babies that'll hate the ladies that make the babies, and since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. My child, realize that unless we progress to a state of coalescence with this essence of all life's conception, we will never bear fruit until we plant the seeds to weed out poverty and feed one another's deepest sustenance from overflowing abundant springs. You know, it's funny, when it rains and pours, they got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Strange how it is, right? When it comes to surplus or budgets for government-funded bloodbaths in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Somalia, and Yemen, but never to save our women and children, and still I see no changes. Can a brother get a little peace? There's war in the streets and there's war in the Middle East. Instead of war on poverty, they got a war on drugs so the police can bother me demonstratively. They don't want no peace. These perni boys in blue always drew guns in blue before understanding you. First ship them, dope them, let them deal with brothers. Give them guns, step back, watch them kill each other. It's time to fight back. That's what Yui said. 2 shots in the dark, now Yui's dead. Hunting kids on the outskirts of Viejo San Juan and La Perla, El Barrio Fino, no reggaeton Latino unless we go and push them past barricade, where lives were taken in cells of emorro and buried like more bodies they tried to exterminate, unfertilizing soil to date. See, most of you will never learn the facts they hide, that our government forcibly sterilized more Black, Indigenous, and Latin women than any mass grave of potential children could ever account for. In 1965, a survey found over 33% of all Puerto Rican women between 20 and 49 were sterilized on the island. This practice became so common, it was simply referred to as la operación. In a 2016 CDC study, it was shown 40.8% of women in Puerto Rico who reported using contraception reported being sterilized. From the 20s to the 80s, Black women in southern states were subjected to the Mississippi appendectomy, a name adopted by Fannie Lou Hamer, a survivor of the procedure, along with other poor Black women like her who were not as fortunate to live to tell their tale. She stated about 6 out of every 10 Black women who frequented that hospital was sterilized with their tubes tied. In the 60s and 70s, Indigenous women forcibly sterilized, and by 1975, as many as 25% of Native women between 15 and 44 were too. Between the 30s and 70s, North Carolina's eugenics board forcibly sterilized at least 7,600 people, over 65% of them Black women. In the past 50 years, given the rise of mass incarceration, women in prison have been involuntarily sterilized at high rates. From 1997 to 2013 alone, in one California prison, almost 1,400 procedures performed. On September 14th, 2020, a whistleblower alleged that women imprisoned at U.S. ICE centers in Osceola, Georgia, had undergone hysterectomies and other methods of sterilizations at an alarming rate. So if we peer into statistics, into the histories, these women victimized by hysterectomies, uninformed, forcible wiping of wombs clean, we see these are not isolated incidents, but rather designed by a system of white insistence upon supremacy, baseless as can be, aiming to strip mine them of possibility to ever bear child without any medical consent. Listen, denouncing eugenics or offering up this isn't America simply isn't enough. It is a proven part and parcel of this mass colony's DNA. It is not until we decolonize these systems and allow women to reclaim bodies, their Black, Indigenous, Puerto Rican bodies, these foundational essence of all human existence, life-giving bodies, can be acknowledged that what is going on here is not a theory, it's not paranoia or cause for alarm. This is scalpel carving monsters, monstering, and not even hiding in dark of closets like Monsters Inc. They have no shame, white jackets cloaked, posed as white robes to blame sex drive for colonizers, drive conquistador and overseers, posing as corporations, logos, slogans, and brands you drink. So why don't you think twice perhaps about state-sanctioned occupations, robbing first people and slave rings brought into a nation which approved of these operations, la operación. We should wipe this slate clean and give back to the land those who hold rightful claims to the fruits of its labors, lest we wish to be the next extinct pile of archaeologic artifactual memories pulled from this mass grave once known as America. Instead, we reclaim as Nuyo Indígena.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Paul.
Ah,
Oh,
High design.
So go give him a follow at Paul. Okay, so Paul, you need to keep your poem short, man. Keep telling you, we went over 6 minutes there, man. I can't let you do it again, brother. I love your stuff, but we got to keep it moving. Deadpan Lizzie is next. Deadpan Lizzie, back on the East Coast where she belongs. Deadpan Lizzie, where does Zuckerberg follow you online? And let's hear your poetry.
Yeah, you know, what's funny is we're doing favorite books in a couple weeks, and 1984 is like one of my least favorites. So speaking of conspiracy theories, I will definitely not be writing a poem about that one when we do it in a couple weeks. You can find me on Instagram, ES_Strauss. That's where I spend most of my time on social media. Advocate, could you please unmute Joshua, please?
Joshua Kernia?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's why Joshua gave up his spot. There he is. Oh, and you're both wearing glasses. Y'all both look so cute. Y'all both look so, I love it. I love it. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we're gonna do a duet. It's called The New Testament. It is for the prompt, and Joshua, take it away when you're ready.
All right. We are accomplices with deranged history, but together we are agents of change. We are conspiring a revelation one might consider a vile hex to sex, while others might perceive as a courageous act of humility and justice for the oppressed.
As I strut in my pleather, rainbow-painted torsos, and shades of pinks in mass, do I look like I am out to harm, or simply living my truths like all the other souls who roam?
I'm out of organs to donate. Fragments of me taken away involuntarily without permission or a sense of validation in return, like I'm never enough and my actions are always lacking something that only the ghost of my past ancestor knows. That's how they say the judgment goes.
Do I send those afraid of my confident strides as the long-haired lesbian lioness of the concrete jungle, my tail wagging swiftly in the summer heat, not pouncing or waiting for prey, just being me?
I have the right to love God and Adam at the same time, anything in between from L to Q and infinite pluses thereafter. It makes sense to me, period.
They say those like me must be sent away. Pray out the gay. Why? The stars align during conception to make me uniquely me.
My compassion for others cannot be contained nor put into a neatly wrapped box with a ribbon on top or bottom, inside out, or vice versa. It's exuberant, squirting like fireworks of multiple spectrums, shapes, and travel paths into the moon eclipse of twilight.
The only crime I have committed recently is smuggling certain treats across this land to ease my anxiety.
I then found myself in court, The hammer hits a nail to a label and onto my forehead. I am sentenced without a lawyer by my side, nor an opportunity to object or explain or time to accept the verdict.
So that I can briefly escape and not have to think about those who do not value me and my queer siblings equally.
The tears are mopped clean under the rug, absorbed by the tainted fabric of secrecy, never to be seen out of shame or guilt or confessed to the synagogue of a cultish society deemed as normal, not even a chance to be laid on the table to simply be discussed and empathized.
Alas, we cannot continue to hide who we are, nor will we give in to those old world ideologies. The next testament is being written, stating on every page that we are valid and that without us, the book would be incomplete.
And the Holy Grail is upon us, yet the tunnel is long and I'm still trailing to be drenched by the light one day. I need that light. I deserve that light.
We are the light. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up.
Oh,
Yes! Wow, for best light.
Really
That's
nice.
how you put that
You are the
together.
light.
That's dope.
Wow.
That's dope. Dope.
This
Deadpan Lizzie and Joshua Kernia. They were looking good in their glasses too, man. This is why I keep saying to make sure that we follow each other. I ask you to put your information also in the chat and to also say it out loud. Those of you in Zoom can see my replacement is here. Assam's daughter is here. There is a conspiracy to replace me as the Monday night host, and it's Assam's daughter. She's looking very beautiful. Hello, I heard you do a great impression of me. Maybe if she's around later, we could hear from her. All right, real quick, because some people came in late, let us one last time address. This is the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the New York Poets Cafe. We do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube for the betterment of Zuckerberg and the Google aliens. If you would like to join us on Zoom, the number is 279-995-364. And of course, I'm the host. You can follow me. You look me up, Advocate of Words. When you spell words, that's with a Z at the end. Tonight's open mic list is closed. It closes within minutes. The signups begin 24 hours before the show on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern. To sign up, you visit nuyorican.org and you click full events calendar. You see, you won't have to scroll down very far at all. When you get there, you click on the Monday you're signing up for. For this Sunday, on this Sunday, you would click for the 26th and you would order an artist RSVP ticket. That's the only way for you to sign up. The first 25 to sign up are guaranteed a spot, and then the next 10 are on the waiting list. And we get to a couple of people in the waiting list. Sometimes we don't get to the waiting list at all. Sometimes we get through the entire waiting list. But usually it's like 1, 2, or 3 people that we get. Right now, I didn't even shout him out. Ron Mark Thompson is co-hosting today in case Zuckerberg wants to kick me offline, or in case Tom from MySpace is still holding his grudge against me and comes on here. Nick Paleologos is coming up. I like the way he's dressed. Let's see what he does. Nick, where can the people follow you online? And then let's hear your poetry.
You muted yourself, but I will tell everybody where to follow me. It is The Real Nick P on IG. I also have a mic coming up. That's right. This Wednesday, I have a mic with The Word Is Right. And as you can see by my background over here, I'm channeling inner Sonny. So if you don't know Sonny, you're probably not going to get the poem, but get ready for some satire and for some conspiracy. This one is called Charlie Made Me Write a Poem About Conspiracy Theory. Charlie appeared in a dream last night to me. What he told me was, so I was trying to figure out where the mail is going. And then I came across this letter for Pepe Sylvia. It was about a dumpster baby that Dee and Dennis found. Me want money. Oh, damn it. My mom mixed that with my notes. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, bingo. Here it is. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Well, that was my bird law notes with my stickers. I need stickers all the time, dude. I bet you didn't know that. So anyways, the dumpster baby and something about Scientology from this Ron L. Hubbard guy. Apparently, Frank ripped him off. So now let me get to the Scientology crap. It's not about science. It was weird. They took this headset and put it on my head, and now I thought I was going to be playing this Oculus game with the blades and stuff, boom, 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 and everything like that. And and it's just like they didn't like that at all. They were like, I was like swinging around, hitting everybody. And it was just like, no, 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 no. So they threw me out. And before I did that, I asked about their spaghetti policy, but they threw me out instead. And then I didn't give me back my bag of spaghetti. And then they told me to get a job. Just get a job. Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down in a job cannon and fire off into job land where jobs grow on jobbies? So anyways, this theory about clowns are running the government, and I haven't seen a clown in a while. Have you seen a clown about Nick? I think you have seen a clown about I know. And then they apparently show the birds aren't real. But you know what? I know that that's true, because I studied in bird law. Yes, that's right. I went to bird law school for 8 years, Nick. So wherever Pepe Sylvia is communicating with, I will get to the bottom of this. And that person will know the wrath of Charlie Kelly. Birds aren't real, my ass. Hey, Nick, wake up, Nick, wake up, Nick. It's time to go to work, Nick. Oh, God. I woke up and it was a really, really odd dream. I mean, Charlie didn't make much sense if you watched the show. Maybe he had a point. Who knows, though? Most conspiracy theories make no sense anyways. Don't fall too far into the rabbit hole.
Garbage men now, Charlie. The garbage men now.
All of it.
Value on Monday
Big
night.
Crazy Jesus. Next time you do that, you gotta
At the real Nick P. It is always sunny in Philadelphia. It is always sunny on the Monday night online open mic because of our cult leader, Nick Paleologos. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Next coming up, we have Catherine Badan. Before we do, I want to make sure I give some shout outs because there are a lot of people in here who are not even on the waiting list who are checking us out. But some of them have signed up, like the beautiful Diane Ward. She's not on the list tonight, but she is checking us out. Idi Younger is in the building. I think she hasn't joined us in a while. I'm glad to see her. What's up? I hope you're good. Also, Whitney Salgado. I remembered Whitney when I did this. Usually I forget Whitney, and then later on I make a big production about it. But I remembered Whitney Salgado out in Wisconsin. Talented artist. Make sure you look her up. My brother Chance is in the building. If you saw earlier on one of the graphics, you saw like this painted cartoonish me. That was because Chance did it. I'm his idol. Assam Zane is here with his daughter too. She was checking us out before. I was gonna be mad at Assam because he's fully buttoned up, but I understand he's playing dad right now. Got it. Overdose is in the building. My brother, his Mets are doing very well. Shout out to Brandy Walker as well here. She's always checking us out. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Brandy. Ray Jane in the building. Thunderlung. She is a treasure amongst the community. She's checking us out. There's also someone named Jalen Cameron. I hope I'm saying it right. Jalen? I hope I'm saying it right. I don't know who that is, Cameron, last name Cameron, but I appreciate you checking out. I saw your name, Net Vega in the building. What's going on, girl? I hope all is good. Big Brother's watching you and all of us. Boy the Cool out in Japan. Appreciate you getting up. Terry Rose, she's addicted to us, man. One day we're going to get her to sign up. She's going to rock out. Mary Blenderman, my 2021 Valentine. Such a writer. All right, there's more people in here, and I'm going to get to them. I wrote it down so I don't forget no one. But let's get to the next poet, Catherine Badan. Catherine scared me moving across the country. We don't hear from her for a few weeks.
I'm not there
she's
yet.
Here.
Hi. I don't know where I'm moving. Anyway, good evening, fellow poets and fellette poets. I don't know. So I wrote a theme. It's called Conspiracy. Okay. I got the Illuminati blues. Yep, the Illuminati dues, if you want to play the game and make it. So is it true that Beyonce and Jay-Z are in the Illuminati? Is it true that Lil Wayne is really a little demon disguised in black skin? And is it true the Kardashians bathe daily in the runoff of sacrificial baby's blood? The majority of it being cordoned off and saved, yes, refrigerated for all the A-list celebrities. I wonder, I ponder, I observe this odd scenario. And no, I'm certainly not a Trump supporter, nor am I a fan of QAnon or the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Please, it's going to take a lot not to make me gag. And yes, I know groups of them believe the very same thing, but they don't quite take it far enough. Obviously, Hillary wasn't running child porno takeout from her delicious pizza shop, or was she? If you reread the emails sent by John Pedophile Podesta, they sure do sound funny. They sure do sound rummy. He may be a super big asshole with a super small penis. Don't you think most pedophiles have small dicks? I do. I think they're as tiny as small sewing thimbles, and they need a reason to feel strong and tall and supersized. Otherwise, why would they perpetrate something so depraved? I got the Illuminati blues. Yep, the Illuminati dues if you want to play the game and make it. And is it true that Kanye West was brainwashed and programmed from the start? Let's face it, the only good song he ever did was Gold Digger, but that was with Jamie Foxx. True or false? Or that Madonna sold her soul to Satan and Sons eons and ages ago, and that's how she got famous in the first place. My disappointment is that Gaga admitted to loving Satan. I love Gaga. Or that Billie Eilish's videos all ooze with satanic worship, just like Katy Perry's used to. The music industry is rife with Satan's minions acting out S&M for 80-year-old Jewish record moguls who can barely stand, but they sure can sit down comfortably to have their cock sucked, and it don't take much energy for them to butt fuck upcoming black rappers. I got the Illuminati blues. Is it true? If you want to play the game and make it, there are network TV shows touting Satan's strength and hold on the world we see around us. All you have to do is check out videos by Rihanna to see the truth. You can view the out-and-out satanic rituals played with her videos every day on the daily news. You see, our civilization is in the early days of the fall of Babylon, LA style. There's even a TV series with an angel and a demon. Oh, really now? I wonder, I ponder, I watch this odd scenario, pure evil now out in public without even bothering to hide it. And I ask myself, how much longer will it take for the general public to become aware of what's happening and become awake? I warn mothers not to let their children watch the music videos, but all they say is they don't let their kids watch that stuff at home. Really? How do you stop them from watching with their friends at school? You can't. You don't. It's beyond our control. You can't possibly know how to fight off the turd ball that's the leader of all demons, little Satan himself, so insidious, dressed in human clothing, he slips and slides around like the snake he is. Instead, you ignore it and you pretend it isn't there. You stay silent. Sometimes you take the time to pray. I got the Illuminati blues. Is it true, if you want to play the game and make it, that the world as we know it is coming to an end? Is it true people are going to be swept up, engulfed in the fire of Armageddon? It could be true if you watch the media and see what's out there. Really, the only place to remain sane is to go within. That's the only place to outride the evildoers who want to take over. But this world isn't our world. This world is filled with evil and danger, ruled by demons from hell. So what to do? How do we banish this enormous glob of grotesqueness? I could say I have no idea. I could say I haven't a clue, but I do. Oh, I certainly do. The power of the spoken word is what rings true. Onward, Christian soldiers, onward, crusaders of the truth. One can dispel negative entity spells by calling them out, by speaking and heralding the light, speaking of the love, speaking of the righteous. But you know what? From where I'm sitting and from my perspective, it's getting a little late in the day and we better start soon.
Unmute yourself.
Oh
Give it up
my
for
God.
That was
Amazing.
That was
Very, very
great.
fucking amazing.
Oh,
It was like
Kanji.
Bill Hicks level
Catherine.
amazing.
That was good.
Damn.
That's
So good.
Ain't that
So
true?
good.
Y'all should have stayed muted because now Big Brother heard all of you cheering on Catherine spilling the truth. Are you kidding me? Well, I caught all those references. I'm telling you, I'm really into conspiracy. I'm not saying I believe all of them, but I am really into them. Catherine Badan, when you spell Badan, Badin, CatherineBadan.com. She's an awesome photographer as well. Check out her stuff. Fantastic writer. Woo! And now next Monday night, we're not going to have it because we're all going to be kidnapped, man. Big Brother's going to disappear us because now we're all smarter from that. All right. Let's enjoy the rest of the night, though. Rich Glennon is next. Where is he? There he is. Rich Glennon is a new father. Rich, where does Big Brother spy on you? And let's hear your poetry.
My guess is through the Alexa. Just like everybody else. I forget my New York fan. 3 short ones. I guess before I start, Rich Glenn on Instagram and Tumblr. I'll throw on my chat after. Okay. The first poem is called Yard. Music is perfect company. It takes breaks every 4 minutes. but the roaring scrape of passing planes reminds me our yard is a single pixel in the encompassing world, with its stern timetable, its song breaks that cut in on Everlong at the best part. This next one is called Food Show on Netflix. There was this 300-year-old cheesemaker who was born from trees, elbows capped with stone, weighed 60 pounds at most, hands rocked jagged as if steered by their arrhythmia veins, but could lift these drums of cheese with college senior ease and roll them in front of cameras, where he slapped the top like a bongo with firm, immortal jealousy to determine if it was done aging. The beats as slow as lows, tolling in the cathedral of his heart, a mass taking its sweet-ass time to fall apart. And this last one is called Separation Anxiety. The first cup of coffee did it. I stand before my baby, bunched upon the floor, like a soon-to-be prophet before a mountain. Her new breath tumbles misty vista sounds, streamy and static, clear and cryptic, near and far. She hangs birds in the air, plants marsupials, plays with a bear, makes him whirl, tastes the dance steps, muddying his paws, babbles them out at me. From leg to leg I shift, weighing her warbles for permission to shift. Thank you.
Mr. Rich Daddy Glennon, unmute yourselves and give him
Thank you, Rich.
Yes, Rich.
Rich. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Such a poet, Rich Glennon on Tumblr and Instagram. I didn't know he was on Instagram. I thought he was just on Tumblr. Now I gotta go look him up. Make sure that you go give him a follow. I mean, you know, if Big Brother is, then you can. All right, some other names I missed. Umberto Marte is here. Shout out to my brother from Harlem. Poetic Desire is here. She is a mainstay here in the Monday night online open mic. Abraham Cardona from Mafia, New Jersey in the building. What's up, Abe? Luciana is here, translating poems, spreading the good word of our poetry. Luis Santiago's in the building. Luis is usually on our Facebook giving us love. Good to see him here in Zoom. Mr. Speaker, our general's here. If we went to war, this is the man who would be leading us. He is another mainstay. Mariela Salazar is staying up late in the UK. She's got no life on Monday except us, and I love it. I'm okay with that. Nessa is also here. I saw Nessa walking. That's what Nessa does. She usually puts on her phone and she shows where she's walking while listening to us, spreading the word of the new yo all around where she's walking. I appreciate that. And also, Catherine Sweeney is here. Shout out to Catherine. I love Catherine's poetry. All right, next coming up is supposed to be Michael Sindler, but Great Scott, we have a pleasant gesture. He is giving up his spot for Jen Relissimo. Jen Relissimo just hosted his first online open mic today. He did it earlier in the day. He's doing it before New York. Holy cow, I just saw that, is that Vasilios? Velvet Cumwich. I love the name. That, yeah, you got to check out Vasilios. They are off the hook. I don't see Jen Relissimo. Michael, hit up Jen Relissimo and we'll get him on. All right, let's keep moving until Jen Relissimo gets back. We have a new name. Love it. Alexis Garcia. Let me unmute Alexis. Alexis.
Right. Yep.
Where have you been? This is like the 68th week we've done that. Like, are your Mondays popping or something? Where have you been?
No, never that. I'm just like, I need to get on this.
Oh, I'm happy to have you. Where are you located?
I'm located in Harlem.
Oh, New York City, Harlem. I was just chilling in Harlem earlier today. Awesome. So here's the deal. You start off, you let the people know where they can find you online if you want them to know that. And then you got 4 minutes to kick your poetry. Go ahead.
Got it. All right. Y'all can find me on Instagram, VexLex Poetry. I'll put it in the chat box later. All right. First poem, I'm going to do two. So the first one is Decency. With the current state of our country and the growing animosity between the sexes, it perplexes me when men refuse to see the beauty that is the female body. They're on the prowl, but scowl at four simple words. Do not touch me. Now, while I break this down, do not would suggest to refrain from the practice of exercising your need to showcase your masculinity and your affinity for inferior women. You are a particular type of breed. It stands to prevent your manhood from invading an unsuspecting woman who could have gone through life not knowing what it was like to be preyed on, but now craves to be preyed with. Touch will refer to this foreign concept of personal space. She is more than just a thigh to be felt. There's more that meets the eye than just two breasts and a pretty face. She is more than just a possible notch on your belt. You do best to keep your hands at a safe distance. Asserting yourself will only cause her to continue living in hesitance. Me assumes an identity, a separate entity from you, body and soul solely her own, a masterpiece in her own right. To men like you, her independence comes off as being unkind. If you took the time to explore her mind, you'd realize she may just be the greatest thing you have ever met. You see, beauty comes in all shapes and sizes, but when you lack the desire for compromises, you focus on unattainable standards and unrealistic expectations. You neglect to see the meaning behind, do not touch me. All right, and the second poem is Introducing Me. I'm an unfinished thought, a mosaic of melancholic memories, a misplaced comma, the unintentional pauses between phrases riddled with double meanings, a semi-functioning vessel on the surface, covering up the frequent malfunctions in desperate need of repair. A questioned answer, an impenetrable equation, a hopeful variable seeking to become a constant, a nuanced enigma, a fickle frenzy, misinterpreted, unable to be contained, misunderstood, wanting someone to match my refrain. I used to believe I was better in theory and left much to be desired in practice. But the fact is, even stars collapse. I get pushed to the edge on the brink of complete destruction and dare to find my way back. This is me in all of my hesitant glory, eagerly awaiting to embark on the next chapter in my story. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give
My
some.
God.
All right,
Yeah, you've been my whole life.
One of us. Come back. Thank you.
So good.
Alexis Garcia. Alexis, I was just going to tell you to put your info in the chat, and she did. Make sure you give Alexis a follow. Alexis, if you heard the people shouting one of us, that means you have to come back. No excuses. I don't care what's going on in Harlem on Monday nights. This is where you're going to have to be. And now we know where to find you online if you're not there. And we're going to bombard your page. So make sure you return. Alexis Garcia. Love hearing new voices. Okay, so Michael Sindler. Also, Scott Pleasance is here. I don't think I mentioned him. Scott Pleasance is the one who started off the trend of giving up your spot for someone else to rock out. That's what Michael Sindler just did. Shout out to lighthousewriters.org. That's what Michael Sindler likes to promote every time he is on here, because the only place you can find Michael Sindler is on our Monday Night Online open mic. He gives Big Brother fits. But now we're going to Generalissimo, who sent me a message and said that he is here. There he is with the Waffle House background. Oh, I'm liking the hat too. I'm trying to unmute. There you go, brother. Generalissimo, where can we find you online? Let's hear your poetry.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll just put all the online stuff in the chat. But on Saturday, I do have a workshop with the Tumbleworks project called Breaks in Inventing Poetic Forms. But I do want to say, I believe that there is a conspiracy by you to put powerhouse poets that I've never heard of before in front of me so that I'll look like a worm that none of the fish want to eat, okay? That is your conspiracy. I don't think that La Bruja would get involved in something like that, but maybe she would. I don't know. It's a conspiracy. Maybe Diane Ward is part of it. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to start off with two conspiracy poems for you because they are. So this is one that I wrote after somebody lost the election in November It's called "When Giuliani Generated Lies Sound Like Lies, but lies about Trump sound like the truth." I'm sorry. When Giuliani generated lies about laptops sound like lies, but lies about Trump sound like the truth. A former high-level White House official in the president's inner circle has reported to the Fox News network that if President Trump wins, he plans to replace George Washington on the $1 bill with himself. An illegal tape of the president that was taped without his permission has been making the rounds in Washington, D.C. Said Donald J. Trump, "Well, George has the quarter and he never was star of a top-rated reality show. Plus, his lost teeth were made of wood, but mine are made of ivory that came from an elephant my boys legally hunted at a very exclusive elephant sanctuary and hunting club in Texas." This next piece is a very old poem called "Them Who Conspire Against People with Feet." I believe there is a conspiracy afoot between the manufacturers of shoes and the makers of shoelaces. Every time I buy new shoes, I tie them. There always seems to be at least a foot of shoelace left on each shoe. I double knot them, yet there is left over that it is inevitable that I will step on them. Anyone who has stepped on a double knotted shoelace knows that the bow gets pulled out, leaving an extremely tight knot that can only be unknotted by using a tiny screwdriver or the tine of a fork to unpretzel the impossible pretzel. New shoelaces can cost upwards of $3 or $4. What a profit margin. Enough, I believe, for certain unarmed shoe manufacturers to get their kickbacks. Okay, and I just have one new piece that was written. And Mr. Paul workshop on Saturday. It's called "Your Smile Never Ceases to Exist as Part of Who You Are." Remember way back when your smile was your calling card. You smiled not only for happy, when you smiled when you were embarrassed, when you smiled through a lie, when you liked to smile, when you used your teeth for more than chewing. Remember when you were always on, then you wanted to dim the lights a little, like high expectations that were unattainable. Then you reverted back to wallflower. You were on vacation when you were present and no one knew but you. Silence was a place of comfort for you, but no one else. Then you crossed a threshold when people started ending sentences and conversations with you with question marks that would not have question marks in writing. Then you stopped going barefoot around family due to the myriad broken eggshells they left as mandatory to walk on eggshells around you. You felt hobbled by the unwritten rule that everyone else is allowed to stand up for themselves, but you must sit in the corner like Dennis the Menace as punishment for breathing. But when you breathed, you existed. Sometimes the act of existence is a form of standing up for yourself, even if you are unaware. Unwritten rules are unwritten and thusly incapable of being set in stone. The only things that are truly set in stone is that every human is composed of bones and every single person decides how to use their teeth. Thank you, everyone.
What an ending. Unmute yourself.
Thank you,
It
brother.
was amazing.
Yes, G.
I have it out for you.
Thanks,
That was so good.
Salute to the
Great
general
piece.
right there.
Great piece.
Yeah.
Generalissimo.
Nice. Generalissimo, and I love that shoe poem because, like, I don't think that's a real conspiracy, but it does touch on like planned obsolescence. That's a real thing. In fact, I would encourage all of you, don't listen to when I just go look it up. Right to Repair. There is a there is a movement that's gaining speed called Right to Repair. Take a look at it. It's really interesting. It sort of speaks a little bit to Generalissimo touched on. Make sure you give him a follow. Brian, put your information into the chat. And also, before you come hang out with us on Mondays, you can hang out with Generalissimo earlier. Like, I think it's at 5:30 Eastern. I'm not sure. Make sure you go speak with him. Give him a follow. He'll give you the answer. Next up, Tanish, or let me unmute Tanish. Tanish has now become a mainstay of Monday Night Online Open Mic. She's been with us for a couple of months. Before that, life is horrible. But now life is great because she's here with us. And things are so much better because she's here with us. I love her voice and writing. Tanish, where can the people follow you online? They'll let's hear your poetry.
TanishContos.com, Tanish Contos on IG. And I've got this one, it's making me really nervous, but that's a good sign. Feeding conspiracies bloody. A tick taken home from a wooded reading where a king walks in. A kindred spirit knocks you back on your seat, as he does every time, and you think too much for too long about all those times, all those ways a past love rejected you in public with friends to witness. These moments of indecision, of denying your rings, of guessing rejection, predicting the future with past trauma brought this tick into your home, where it fed for 2 days until you nourish your shoulders and neck with sprigs of aloe and finally find the culprit waddling on your chair, the headrest drunk on blood, your blood, and you smash it, explodes with a pool of your blood, letting parasites feed on your thoughts. Love is not for the doubting cowards. Pain, not comfort, is staying put. Follow your heart, fuck all the rest. And in that space, you'll find yourself naked in love resting. That's it.
Ooh, unmute yourself, give it
Fire. Love is not for the doubting cowards. Damn.
Oh my goodness, that one.
How do you do this?
Amazing.
You beast.
You beast. Love is not for the doubting cowards, and then like how they took the blood from her and then she squished it and like her blood. Oh my God, I was following that whole thing. Make sure you give her a follow. Tanish, also put your information into the Zoom chat if you haven't already. And of course, everyone should know, but in case you don't, on Monday night, we allow you to change your name. So of course, if you want to put your social media information in there, you can do that. But everyone should know that. Everyone should know that, except for Alexis, because this is Alexis's first time with us. We have a couple of, we have another new name also who we're going to be hearing from later, Antonio. I see him in the building, so we'll get to hear from him later. But right now, we are going with Mr. Tessa Somok, the bard in a room full of poets. He is now going to give us his TED Talk. Mr. Tessa Somok, where can we find you online? And let's hear your work, brother.
You can catch me on Instagram under Gashes2019 and to see if my thesaurus is up to speed today compared to Paul's. He broke his. The signifier and the simulacra. The neighborhood is nothing but a protective zone. Remodeling, disinfection, a snobbish and hygienic design, but above all, in a figurative sense, it is a machine for making emptiness. Jean Baudrillard, Simulacra and Simulation. Society is a conspiracy against itself and the self. It is a regenerative kind of sublime mass, homicide and progress, a kind of socially agreed plot between conspirators and conspirators in the political realm of extra legality and the force of law and the unlawful or harmful. The social contract as conspiracy refers to a group of people united in usurping, altering, or overthrowing an established agreement of being. The goalpost moving of the failed cabal of predators engenders the dark mass of secrecy to engage in activities unethical and for the purpose of perpetuating their own advantage. If we are nostalgic for a time in history, it's the evolving regime of signification characterized by economic, intellectual, and cultural decline. We contrast the latter period in its exceptional, simple, and significant way, not the dark, complex, and deflationary historical moment. We're entering a retro-evolutionary moment toward an early medieval period, a golden age of darkness, ignorance, superstition, and magical thinking. As the herald of what's to come, you run the moral and intellectual hazard in announcing the material facts and that everyone is masticating magical musings. If you look into the abyss of ridiculous, blatantly delusional and childish views, then realize it starts to stare back and you go and at you with gnawing certainty, mocking you with superior confidence that it will default in the failure of the political, which is violence. The political threshold, long prophesied by philosophers and feared by priests, where nothing is true and everything is permitted, the victim of the inflationary Derridian semiotic slippage with no fixed ethical grounding and allowing relativistic moral destructuring. The coup d'etat is the symptom and the catalyst, the signifier and the simulacrum, the empty container of fears, desires, and homogenized integrity of racial purity. Or was that the integrity and purity of the bullet or the ballot? The inherent problem with simulations is that, as the observer, how do you know it's a simulacra? January 6, 2020 was a simulation. You convinced the Capitol Police, you convinced the Republic Crows and the Dixiecrats, and you've been hankering and howling like a medieval minstrel with what a love fest and domicile event it was. Conspiracies hide their true mechanic. There's no objective difference. The same gestures and the same signs exist as for a real theft. In fact, the signs for the established order are always in the order of the real. Lest we forget the final catalytic element of the quick reaction forces, one if by land, two if by sea, stationed at the Comfort Inn across the river within 7 minutes from the Lincoln Memorial that never materialized with partisans and guns. The Reichstag moment vaporized with Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, General Mark Milley, saying the quiet part out loud. You can't do this without the military. You can't do this without the CIA and the FBI. We're the guys with the guns. The universe of collective agreement is rapidly contracting with an entry into the new simplification, the new dark ages, the banal, cynical, and hypocritical people who abandon the social semiotic contract, knowing they have privileged themselves at the expense of the mob. In the end, there are no neutral mutations. A robust neutral variant, one that remains functional, will spread in a large mob of diverse population more than a fragile one. Mutational robustness follows a maximal entropy random walk, a canonical Markov chain, but non-local, non-diffusive dynamics. These counterintuitive results underscore the fertility of the interface between evolutionary dynamics, information theory, and physics. The weapon is the mob.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Mr. Tessa Sobo.
Always so
Nice job.
fun.
Good job. Thank you. Thank you.
Win.
Thank you.
Amazing.
That was the best TES talk yet. Holy shit.
You can find him on Instagram, Gashes2019. He also runs the Pandemic Poets group on Facebook. Give him a listen. Next coming up is Dominique Colden. And I have been seeing a lot of Dominique because I have been editing the highlight reel for Naked, which I'm hoping is going to come out tomorrow or Wednesday. And Dominique is featured in it. Dominique, let the people know where they can find you online. And then let's hear your poetry.
Hey everyone, you can find me on Instagram at DTruthAndLove, and I'll put it in the chat when I'm done. So this is a brand new piece, and it's called The Revolution Will Be Live Streamed. Nothing can escape the depths of the interwebs. The digital arachnid spins a worldwide wicked web. It's the catalyst of humanity's entanglement. Perpetuates the collaboration, the coterie of the secret societies, but not so secret anymore. Thanks to the interwebs, we got the tea on the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, exposing their reign of terror over centuries. Those repulsive shapeshifters have been exposed. As Yeshua rebuked those brood of vipers, slithering with their lesser magic, casting spells on the sleeping masses, but those asses about to get kicked out of Hogwarts. No one can thwart the anonymous justice. Anonymous is justice, conscious consciousness. Ignotium justitia, compos mentis. God in the machine, spirit of the mechanism. Deus ex machina and machina et spiritus. QAnon's like rat poison, creating a potent potion of lies intertwined with half-truths, tainting the sound conspiracy theorists that actually have proof. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Don't believe the hype. Don't drink the Kool-Aid of the lamestream media. Don't just regurgitate the news flashes. Let the bits of information marinate in your neurons and synapses. Critical thinking is a lost art, but it's still in vogue. Religion is a prison that keeps you in a stronghold. Make informed decisions. Don't just do what you're told. Lamestream media is losing its foothold because us small-scale content creators, we've taken over for the 2020s and the new millennia. And this Aquarius is excited for the new age, turning the page and this broken system on its head, disposing of the television because it's already dead. Quick, everyone, pull out your smartphones and point, click, click, boom. We can now live stream in real time, right as it happens, right from our rooms, right here on Zoom, or upload and save to your socials. It really did happen. It's happening right now. Just ask the locals. We're on the front lines witnessing, living it in real time, so we can't help but be vocal. The revolution will be live streamed. The revolution will be live streamed. Ignotum justitia compos mentis, Deus ex machina and machina et spiritus. The reptilian overlords and their shadow government whores think they can keep all the knowledge they hoard, but their time is up. The jig is up. Us so-called peasants are incessant in our endless quest and thirst for knowledge, and the answers to our questions, like why are we here? Did we really go to the moon? Or was it just a veneer? Those who have ears, let them hear as I speak in code, lest we get booted off the internet. Was Blind 11 an inside job? The jet streams lined with chemtrails have disfigured our beautiful blue skies. Blue-pilled sleeping sheeple with their third eye blind. Extraterrestrials, close encounters of the third kind. They've always been here, shrouded in secrecy by the secret societies and cabals. Full disclosure is upon us. Are you ready for the establishment to fall? My tin hat is tingling. The flat earthers might be onto something. The elite's been trying to jump ship for years. Whoa, Earth is ghetto. I wanna leave. Oh, Earth is ghetto. Apparently, they know something we don't know. So many beloved movies and TV shows have predicted, programmed us that it's so obvious Armageddon is near. But have no fear, because the jig is up. Acceptance of the red pill is waking people up. Breaking news, this just in. Our sources and fact checkers have confirmed that the revolution will not be televised. However, the revolution will be live streamed. Thank you and good night.
Holy shit, Dominique!
Oh, Dominique.
Holy shit!
Yes, clever,
Just
yes.
happened.
That just happened.
And print.
That red pill shit.
Tremendous.
We're gonna get banned from the internet, but we're gonna go out with a bang. That is Dominique Golden. Oh, so many gems in there. Chemtrails. First time we heard chemtrails today. And I have done thorough research on the moon. Okay. I do believe we went there, but some of that footage is fake. And I am comfortable saying that because I edit film. I can literally watch film and I can tell you, oh, that's going 29.97 frames per second. That's going 24 frames per second. Oh, that's going 60 frames per second. There's a reason they call TV, hyper images. And then like 60 frames per second, that's what our video games are using. The CIA was using that to freaking manipulate people and brainwash them. It literally 60 frames, our eyes move. Here it is. And I'm just gonna keep going in the next part. Our eyes captured 24 frames per second. It's actually 23.97. That's why movies and film is 24 frames per second. But TV is hyper reality at 30 frames per second. It messes with your mind a little bit. 60 frames per second, your eyes can't handle it. It's a whole other game, I'm telling you. Oh, Dominique, you opened it up, man. I got to keep going. I'm going to wind up using the next hour and some change we have left to just talk about this. Let's keep it moving. And that is not a conspiracy. That is really Gigi. She just changed her hair color. Gigi, where can people find you online? And let's hear your poetry.
You can find me at iron_resilience or arcadian-poetry.com. So I have 2 poems, and they're actually, one is like my attempt at a funny poem, and then the other one's wholesome. So just for background, when I was little, I didn't believe in dinosaurs, not in like the weird Christian way. Like the big lizard thing didn't make sense to me, and I always thought they were birds. And so I used to get into a lot of fights, and then the Science Journal ended up like 10 years later publishing that dinosaurs were really birds. So this is what this is about. This one's called The Dinosaur Debate. As a child, I never believed in dinosaurs, not your tall gray lizards. I always believed they were birds. At the age of 10, when my father told me stories, I remember saying, I don't see them anywhere. And he would say, well, no, they're extinct. We rely on scientists to tell us the stories of our past. And my reply was, that's a lot of faith to have in men. It wasn't I didn't believe in the bones unearthed and excavated. I was captivated in museums, wondering where their wings could have gone. Your dinosaurs looked so lifeless. It was these giant lizards were here for a moment and then suddenly gone. Like in the land before time, struck down by a comet, just dull gray lizards who looked out of place in the foliage. I believe since the T-Rex was related to the chicken, if a paleontologist guessed what they look like, their guess was as good as mine. Knee-high to a grasshopper, my bad math couldn't connect the lizards to birds. Oh, how teachers hated me in science class for my giant dinosaur debate on how I didn't believe they're gray-washed dinosaurs until one day in a journal announced there was a fossilized feather. There was that feather, and now dinosaurs were probably big birds covered in beautiful feathers that evolved into some things that are still around. And to all my science teachers, I'd like to say, your dinosaur was never real, but mine was. And this one is called The Conspiracy for Happiness. The Conspiracy of Happiness. I have a theory, and it's at the tip of my tongue, that there is an after. The after hardship. There is an after the death of loved ones, loves lost. This conspiracy theory is that happiness is always around the corner, peering persistently at you. Joy stalks you in the night, waiting for you to leave the door open. It's a theory thinking, I used to think it was a rarity, that joy was only broken up by intermittent misery. For a long time, I didn't believe I was a joy denier. It wasn't until laughter crept into the room, until sun swept the floors of a bedroom where nothing but sleep and depression took place. Depression that lingered, making days melt into one another, finally started to dissipate. But there was an after, the after with joy, and it's slow and persistent. It has taken me over a year of mourning that my eyes no longer feel cloudy, where I can now count joys on more than just my fingertips. But I no longer believe that joy is anything other than resilience. I believe in the conspiracy and this wild notion that there is an after, and it is filled with joy. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves and give it up for G.
Both incredible.
GG going in. And for those who don't know the reference here, talk about the Christian dinosaurs. There are some religious people in the world who believe that the world is only 6,000 years old. So therefore dinosaurs couldn't have existed. And they believe people went around the world burying big fake bones and stuff like that. And it's this whole conspiracy. That's what she was referring to, for those who don't know. So that was Gigi. Make sure that you give her a follow. Gigi, make sure you put your information into the chat as well. And yes, that was Gigi, just different hair color. I saw it on Instagram. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Next up is supposed to be Paul Skiff, but great Scott, we have a pleasant gesture. He is giving up his spot for Roz. Now, where is Roz? Is Roz not even here? Roz is not even here. Where is Roz? Shout out to Kai Brackens. I didn't see Kai come in the room. Kai hasn't been around in a while, but she has definitely made her presence known here on the Monday Night Online Open Mic. So shout out to Kai. I don't see Roz, and I think Paul left too. So I'm going to keep it moving, and we'll circle back if they're back. We're going now to Finn Bell. Let me unmute Finn. I'm having a great time tonight, everyone. Hi, Finn. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm even better now that you're here. Let the people know where they can follow you online, and then let's hear your poetry.
Instagram, Finn_Bell, PHYNNE_BELLE. So my poem tonight is a little different, but there might be a little bit of conspiracy in it. Anne, dearest, loosen the crimson cord from round your neck so I can view you better, caress and press myself upon you uninterrupted. My sash is one with the fragile of this neck. They do not wish to be parted. And dearest, I insist, discard your last scrap of laughable false modesty. Do you desire me? Do you want this tryst to end? I desire you on this one night we share, but desire is no rare delicacy to me. Early on, I was instructed on how my body was a commodity, each barter bringing my greedy, grabbing family and me closer to our glory, closer to my security. It was a different time then. Women could tilt the scales of their destiny in the dude rose they held between the chaste latch promise of their thighs. Only once, and no more. And even then, every choice limited. And dear, you tease and delay with this nonsense. Shh. Listen, my simple paramour. You do not pay attention at all to my words, only to the mouth that breathes and forms them. Hush, and rein in your petulant impatience. This body you covet, this body you wish to slather, disheveled in your eager, unpracticed lust. It banished a queen. Long live the queen. It blasphemed upon a religion. It divided a nation, divided allegiances, hinted at war. It seduced a king, made him forget duty and loyalty. It made him fall to his knees. It brought salvation to a beloved sister who despised me and spit in my wake. This body, this lovely body, so coveted, so pure, it was offered to the chopping block. My crimson ribbon will remain, stark blood gash upon my pale neck, for she is my destiny's very tape, nearly cut short by Atropos' unbowing decision and a ruler's machinations, for she is my life returned to me at my last dim hours, when I thought a deaf God only heard my supplication for a swift and merciful death. Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Finn.
My queen.
Yes.
Go baby. Finn, appropriate.
That was like a whole damn fairy tale. Like a whole damn fairy tale.
Awesome.
Just go.
Good.
We're not worth.
Like a fairy tale. Elemental called it. Shout out to Elemental. That was like a fairy tale. Finn_Bell, PHYNNE_BELLE. She does workshops and podcasts and open mics and all kinds of goodies and stuff. And that she's a poetry editor. I don't know how much she's done it or of late, but like I know she can edit some poems. So if you need an editor and you got some extra bread, send it her way and she will edit your poems. Finn Bell, go look her up, man. And she's easy on the eyes. Come on now, she's easy on the eyes. All right. Paul Skiff is here, but he didn't. Paul, hit me back. Let me know if you wanted to perform or not, because he had given up his spot for Raj. She's not here. So Paul, let me know. Hit me in the messages. Right now, we're going to the man who is flying co-host for me, and that is Ron Mark Thompson. Ron, let the people know where they can find you online. Then let's hear your work, brother.
Thank you. And you know what? I think you conspired against me because I didn't know I was co-host and I needed to go to the bathroom badly. And I'm like, what if I go to the bathroom and then his Wi-Fi cuts off? And then 10 minutes later, you saw what my computer did to me. I'm like, the computer's conspiring against me. Stop it, So, and talking about conspiracy, I think it's a conspiracy that Amanda was on top of the sign-up list and DG Clearing was at the end. That's like, what's up with that? That's the conspiracy, right? So I'm going to quickly put in the chat. I want to give a shout out. Nick, Paul, Ray Chain, Kara, and myself, and 3 other poets. We will perform at the New York City Poetry Festival. This weekend, we're going to be live on stage Sunday the 25th, 5:30 p.m. Governor's Island, Manhattan. You have to take a ferry there, no cost. You have to reserve a ticket for the ferry in advance. Come and see us if you can. And my own organization, Bronx Art and Fun Hub, we're going to do some arts and crafts. I'll create mini zines with poets and quotes, poetry and quotes. And Diane's Egg Fresh workshop is coming up. It's all in Eventbrite. You can sign up. All right. I didn't perform the last 2 weeks, but I enjoyed watching the performances. So I combined today's conspiracy with the previous themes, naked and superpower and advocate. I think you're going to take the co-host rights away because my poem is called F Advocate. I smell a conspiracy. And I wrote that before I knew you made me a co-host. So here we go, but stick to the end. 2 weeks ago, Advocate of Words seemed to overly enjoy himself when we recited our naked poetry. If you don't believe me, watch the cafe's video playback on YouTube. There you can see. He giggled and was in joy as every reader themselves poetically exposed. We gave it our all, every little naked bit of our lives we disclosed. So excuse me, what the F Advocate, or the PG version, what the fudge Advocate? Did you enjoy coming up and giving us that theme? Did you get off listening to our nakedness? Did you have a good dream? Is this why you wish us a good night, sweet poet, at every end? Do you feel happy, relieved, and very content? I smell a conspiracy, a really good one. You must really be having fun. Look at all the other themes you gave us in the past weeks. You really come up with some good topics and techniques. Does it pleasure you when we wrapped our flags? That was might. Or remember when you gave us they said about me? You really were curious what they said about us, right? But we wrote faithfully to each and every one of your themes. We wrote until our hands bled from the pen and our neighbors heard our screams. Our fingers couldn't type the keys anymore. Nevertheless, we kept pulling out the words from our innards more and more. And then we recited our poems nevertheless, because we love the cafe, we love Advocate, we want to impress. So I wonder, is this his superpower, his talent, his skill? Convert our creative thoughts into lines and sounds, keep going uphill? Maybe the conspiracy is to make each of us a better poet, a better writer, to exceed our expectations, to give our best, to be brighter. So I should turn my F Advocate into a different word. I think fantastic or advocate or fabulous advocate is better stirred. Yes, Advocate makes me write each and every week. The conspiracy was there all along, so to speak. Today, I turned the conspiracy into yet another poem, line by line. I feel happy. I can smile. I am finally fine. Thank you, advocate, for conspiring me against myself to write yet another naked poem for my words I fear to expose, for giving the superpower of the pen, which I always meant to choose. And of course, thank you all for listening to me again tonight. May your evening and night, as always, be shiny and bright. The end.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Ron.
Wow, that was fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Y'all are gonna make me have to put tissues right next to my computer on Monday nights, man. Y'all need to. That's the conspiracy.
Ron Mark Thompson. I love it. I love it. Make sure you give that dude a follow. Look up Bronx Fun Hub. They're doing a lot of stuff over there as well. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Ron always puts a positive twist on things, brings a lot of energy. Thank you for co-hosting tonight again, Ron. I appreciate you. And yes, there actually is a conspiracy. And let me put myself in speaker view. There is a conspiracy. And I'm going to tell you what the conspiracy is. Okay? All right. I didn't get frozen. Cool. I thought I got booted out right when I was about to say it. The cafe has a conspiracy. In August, the cafe and myself, that's how I know about the conspiracy, are going to be hosting an in-person / online open mic. It's going to be in August. So we're going to be inside the cafe with half the people on the open mic are inside the cafe, and we're going to be streaming it. And then the other half of the people on the open mic are going to be people who can sign up online. So if you are performing online, people at the cafe are going to hear you and clap for you. If you are performing at the cafe, people online are going to be giving it up for you. So that is what we are working on. It was supposed to be the end of July. I had hit up a few people to get the ball rolling, but now I have to move that date back. I'll be hitting up some more people. So yeah, it is going to be on and popping. That is the conspiracy. Once I get the date, I'll let you know. I think I should get the date tomorrow. So you better follow me online at Advocate of Words. When you spell words, that's with a Z at the end. We're going to get all them details out. So now we're going to go into the Skiff verse because Roz wasn't here. So I'm sorry Roz isn't here. I wanted to hear her, but I ain't mad about going into the Skiff verse with Paul Skiff, the OG. I always say he's got more claim to this open mic than I do because he has very much been involved with the culture of the New York Poets Cafe since damn near day one. Paul, let the people know where they can find you online and then take us into the Skiff verse.
Hey, hi, everybody. It's just the most recent stuff I've been putting up is on Instagram at just Skiffgram, SKIFFGRAM. I don't know, it's like I have so much stuff about conspiracy this, conspiracy that. That's and as evidenced by everything you're hearing tonight, it is just part of society. It's the way it reproduces itself. I just read the last couple paragraphs of this poem, so it may not make a lot of sense, but you maybe just get into the poetry of it. Advocate, why is it every time I try to give away my spot, the person I want to give it to is never here? Because it's a conspiracy to make me seem selfish. I know. Anyway, here we go. Question that leaves us all alone, talking with fire through the wall. It eats to get to us, our mouths, wounds of powerlessness shown into cupped hands of repetition where they pour out an adage, mouth now unsure of its purpose, barf or sing. Only the 12-year-old boys with marijuana-flavored skin lined up against the wall with cops' hands in their pockets know this. Rain upon ocean, wind through sky, fire within the sun, confusion consoling stupidity. A bomb has ripped off its clothes to perform, collects identical reactions, even with lactating breasts, fathers, over-exaggerated emptiness of self-interest, a person in themselves detonated accidentally, loud, old-fashioned form for creation of ignorable lies. We are all born with mud in our mouths and confront impatience. We leave the taste of the first food behind in common, we have forgotten. And if the world was not set up to pull aggression on you, why did you bawl upon arriving? Lord God, please clear this lot. Lord God, please clear this lot. Lord God, please clear this lot. Chant exorcists behind the empty lot on Forgotten Street, but in the disposed bag of accidental gestation, pre-human residents throw more broken pallets onto their 50-gallon fire, settle upon their tattered sofas beneath cavernous night, and do not come out. There are rips in the cyclone fence behind which wealth is measured in all that can be piled up and burned. Incense of an unknown blend intoxicates purpose from the fire engine that bounces sparks from its chassis over that lumpy intersection, while the invincible core of humanity revives behind the slit that menaces blind dance of routine. Glorious sanitizers, child harvesters like fire engines also arrive with the indifference of parched arrogance, great care, expertise, and precision are preparations of might for hire by those who would evict all reluctant name bearers. But the invisible choir of wardens who pierce and expel blind spots into the world to be snapshots of loves subjugated and displayed are also gross and evil cripplers who just as easily destroy, who place the habits of correction on exterior of procedure silence before the gun that is starving is made from the stillness of expert malingerers who offer new initiative to colossal dimension of loss between the formerly human and what has been cast up to repeat anger against the living that will now take me over and give me out to this world. The light of the world is strangling. The hose of the fireman stiffens to blast. I cannot see well. You drop chemicals in my eyes. As they aim, the firemen bow their heads, lights on the truck spin to stir stone buildings into liquid swirls of colors. To mark my arrival within the dominion of this government, you slather my tiny foot with ink, then press me against your arrival document to consecrate my humanity by stealing a key of my identity. As long as I live, there will be too many witnesses to every arrival at helplessness. To arrive here on this earth is to be cleansed with life. To be alive is to tirelessly be made into a picture. I did not know these were the strict rules of the welcome ceremony here on this earth, but before the instinct of my very own tongue broke open my mouth for the very first time in that cold and sterile room, I heard you coming for me.
Make some noise, give it up for Paul.
Holy hell.
Thank you.
Yo.
So glad he went.
Always so incredible to hear that.
Thank you. He's not human.
That was incredible.
He's another one. He's not human.
Wow.
He's not.
Gift of Skiff.
Probably got foiled.
paulskiff.com. Make sure you check him out. Woo, there's just so much in there. There's only one thing I want to touch on because, man, there are so many things everyone is touching on I want to get into, but there's only one thing I want to touch on. Look up what it means your birth certificate really means. All right? You think it's one thing, but look it up. And then after you look up birth certificate, look up maritime law. Then you will see the game. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, like, y'all have no idea, man, how deep in the conspiracies I am. I just leave it off the open mic. Look up about what your birth certificate really means, what your social security number really means, and then look up maritime law. Woo! Birth certificate. Let's get going. Come on, let's get going. I'm gonna keep everyone here all night. Let's go. Let's go. Marissa Prada. Oh my, I have been so excited since I've seen you with the makeup. I'm loving it. Paul Conqueso mentioned earlier that everyone is like up in the production value here on Monday nights, and they totally are. Marissa, where can we find you? And then get into whatever you're about to get into. Let's go.
What's up, Advocate? What's up, New Year? Happy Monday. Yes, I'm very excited about tonight. Come find me, Marissa Prada, on Facebook, Prada Painting and Poetry on Instagram. I co-author The Word Is Right, WRITE, and my press, we are publishing house, small, locally owned here in New Mexico. We're female forward. It is Red or Green Books. Red is READ, and we're launching 20 debut collections of poetry this year, so it's pretty fucking incredible. All right, this poem, of course, I live in New Mexico, so why not rep? This poem is titled Roswell. It was a Tuesday, July 8th, 1947. You'd have to know how dark the night sky is over New Mexico to understand the absence of light. Lots of ranch land in New Mexico, lots of cattle and barbed wire, blue sky and endless horizon lines. Must have been why they came to visit. Ranchers never expected unexpected visitors. Hot summer days, cool summer nights, dry air, quiet middle of nowhere, where no one would deem a destination. So when the ground shook and cows fell over dead, when Air Force pilots radioed in their concerns and farmers ran out to beaming lights from the sky, then gone, then dark again, lights again, then a crash! Sounded solid, slicing into the earth. Lights flickered. Dust flew like fingerprint powder on a crime scene. Disc-shaped, unexplained questions abound. Fumes ignite on such a dark night for such a bright visitor. Debris field 200 yards long. Military response. Flying disc discovered in Roswell, New Mexico. Not, I repeat, not a weather balloon. Fucking military cover-ups. Not until 1970 was it brought back to the headlines, and thus was born ufology. Yes, truly, clearly, honestly, that night bodies were recovered. In 1994, the US Air Force claimed it was a nuclear test surveillance balloon. In 1997, they said alien bodies were merely test dummies being dropped from high altitudes. They claimed they've investigated exhaustively this event, but they have not. Even in the Roswell Museum, where I myself have visited, exist artifacts and numerous eyewitness accounts, and of course, alien bodies. Yes! June 26, 1947, there was a civilian pilot named Kenneth Arnold claimed he had seen a flying saucer. July 1947, William Macbrazella, a ranch foreman, noticed clusters of debris on the Foster Ranch. A lieutenant colonel soon showed up with a detail. The ranch hand was escorted away. Debris was collected and transported. July 8th, 1947, press release stated personnel had discovered a flying disc described by the FBI as being hexagonal in shape and was suspended from a balloon via cable. But historian Robert Goldberg wrote that the intended effect was achieved, and thus the story just died the next day. Reported sightings of such activity date back to 1440 BC in ancient Egypt, where Thule papyrus scribes of the pharaohs wrote that fiery discs were encountered floating over the sky. 218 BC, Rome reported phantom ships gleaming in the sky. 1561, celestial phenomenon over Nuremberg. 1668, Hungary. 20th century. Alabama, North Dakota, Arizona, Maine, San Diego, Chicago, Texas, Missouri, Los Angeles, Washington, Kentucky, Oregon, Montana, Washington, D.C., Virginia, Nevada, Japan, West Virginia, South Dakota, Florence, South Africa, UK, Brazil, Soviet Union, New Hampshire, France, Pennsylvania, Australia, Canada, Finland, South Africa, Iran, South Korea, Poland, Australia, Peru, Belgium, Slovakia, Mexico, New Zealand, Portugal, Sweden. Even in 2012, when President Obama visited Roswell, he remarked, "I come in peace." Regardless of what you think really happened, it sparked a whirlwind of movies like The X-Files, Alien Autopsy, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Independence Day, Roswell, Futurama, Indiana Jones, and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So consider this. We are not alone, and the truth is out there. Then ask yourself, when you come to New Mexico, will you come in peace?
Unmute yourselves, give it up for
Yes!
Marissa.
That a great girl.
Yes, fucking genius. Very straight up. Very genius.
Thank you. I love the costume. Yeah.
That was fun. That was sick.
Marissa Prada, make sure that you go and give her a follow. I love it. I am so into aliens. And you know, and I'm so skeptical too, because there's a lot of BS out there. But if you haven't heard of the name Bob Lazar, you need to go look him up. Yo, this dude has been consistent for like 30 or 40 years, man. Bob Lazar, Lazar, look him up. But first, go follow Marissa Prada. All right. I loved it. I loved it. Wait, where's Marissa? Wait, I just lost her on my screen. There she is. Marissa, you gonna be here to the end? Yes, I want you to read the Good Night Sweet Poet poem. I will send it to you. Awesome. Okay, great. Now we're going to go to Propaganda Poet. I got a feeling he got some stuff. He got some ish.
Okay,
I really hope
don't go far, advocate. Don't go far, advocate. The real conspiracy is that nobody told me y'all were bringing your best fucking shit tonight. Like, nobody told me. That's the fucking conspiracy. But I got to just say, I got my own conspiracy. Over the next few weeks, I got some big plans. That's my conspiracy. So what I'm going to do, after talking yesterday to this brother about this very topic, I need to hear what he has to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade my spot, because I want Elemental to come on up now, and I want to hear what he has to say. I want to make sure we get to him. So if we so on the waiting list, if we get to me, cool. But otherwise, we have to hear Elemental tonight on this topic. Yeah. So throw me in his spot, and if we get to me, cool, and bring that brother up right now.
All right, I'm trying to unmute him. So we're going to switch spots. Great, Scott. We have a pleasant gesture, Propaganda Poet giving up his spot so Elemental could speak. You know, no, hold on, y'all. This is a freaking conspiracy, because y'all know this man gives me problems every week. Elemental be spitting on fire, and I can't be having him in the highlight reel every freaking week, man, and he makes it so difficult. This is a conspiracy. I see it coming up. I'm going to get y'all. All right, go ahead, Elemental. Let the people know where they can follow you and see your poetry.
Look, man, Propaganda, brother, I love you. I appreciate you. Storm Gods in the building. Elemental.com, my book Calamity, man, coming. Check it out. Straight up. Men Who Heal, man. Yo, it's a lot. Propaganda, I appreciate you, man. Monday. Let's get it. It's a conspiracy. By any means necessary, this country 'tis of thee, sweet land of hypocrisy, monopoly, Koch brothers, super PACs, Socrates, philosophies, and secret societies, Skull and Bones, Lloyds of London, and Nautilus insurance policies on enslaved Africans and pirate ships. Let's start there. Stagecoach, Wells Fargo, move souls coast to coast, City, Bank of America, currency and flesh and bone, built thrones of sinew thanks to criminals breaking rules set by bull breakers. Willie Lynch, State of Mind Preservation Society members, a clan of a different cloth. Standing in rotten orchards, burning crosses, because God said, slaves, obey your earthly white masters. Stay in your lane, accept your name. Don't worry about language, because all you need to know is, yes, sir, massa. No, sir, massa. What's the matter, boss? We sick? Yes, sir, boss. Right away, boss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Motisa to digest the Reconstruction Amendments. Vomit death sentences. then turned lynching into carnivals where one could leave with remnants of the deceased, labeled supremacy, kin to me, like jerry curls and finger waves. Back in the good old days, when the world was still fast asleep under Nixon redemption spell, fell for the Cronkite hype night after casket made their way home with addicts with bad habits of killing without autonomy. Viet Cong, they never robbed us of our nationality, never saw us as enemy, because we're fighting the same enemy. But it's all part of the flimflammery. Textbook Grammarly grades you on your spelling of acceptance. For those of us that chose to live in this loud black skin came the great American liberator, Federal Bureau of Central Intelligence with hellish undertones right out of the blue. This Hoover, no Crip, no Cap, this cat saw black as deadly. Number one threat in America, security and quality of life. Panther, Banta, so he became nexus of sepsis to COINTELPRO collapse communities one rock at a time. They called it a war on drugs. Saw Nancy and Ron with trickle down trick or treat enthusiasm use coded language to make themselves infamous. Planted Judas for fear of Black Messiah to coalesce their illegitimate claims of this land. Get your hand out of my pocket. With devilish grin, make prison new privatized plantation, just an industrial complex where you can get everything. Victoria's Secret, Walmart stocks, Starbucks cups, you know, everyone's favorite staples of Americana. I am the strange fruit that grew from poplar trees on poplar streets with all black seeds, all American sour black power. I know how un-American that sounds, but isn't that what you intended? For us to build your utopia and either die here or get the hell out? Why else would you consider Black Lives Matter supporters Black identity extremists? We hear you. We never sought to be Americans like you. So next time you see Black Wall Street spring up in your suburbia, Black Panthers protecting our borders within but without your hatred, unless you're ready to resurrect and fund the Black Star Line with reparations you owe. No? Then keep your bugs and your cameras to yourself. Otherwise, remember, war can be very bad for your health.
Unmute yourself.
Okay, that was amazing. Holy shit.
Boy, that's the Joker.
I told y'all.
Phenomenal.
Elemental, when you look him up, elemental.com, you take the T out and you put in the number 2. I am loving tonight. And again, some more reading material for y'all. Look up Agent 800, all right? Like, just look that up. Okay, Mia Aguilera is now next. Mia, I believe, made her debut on the Monday Night Online Open Mic last week, and now she's here again. I think she's addicted. She's a friend of Sam Park, who is a treasure to this community we love, but Sam hasn't been around, so now we're gonna love Mia a lot more. Hi, Mia. Let the people know where they can find you online, and then let's hear your poetry.
Hi, poets. It's good to be back. You can find me on Instagram at Mia Xochitl. That's MIAXOCHITL. And this is called A Solitary House on the Texas Panhandle. I cross your front porch thirsty after a long drive, and you ask me to stay. Serve me black tea, sausage, and cornbread on a cracked plate. You stand at the sink, slicing peaches, the muscles in your calves taut as you rise onto the balls of your feet, then lower, matching the rise and fall of your chest. There are no neighbors. A single tree stands close to the horizon. You look out the window and see a watercolor sky, first navy, mauve, periwinkle, then blue-white. The hem of your sundress lifts. I lick the salt off your hips. On slow, hot days, I nap in the hollow of your throat. Light streaks across your rib cage, illuminates the hair on your legs. My thirst is not slaked. I gravitate to you. The catch of your breath, the slippery brine of your cunt. This house surrounded by dry brown wheat that no one harvests. A grasshopper leaps and goes click, click, click. Why do you stay here? There is so much room to breathe. Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it a
Nice. Oh my goodness. Hey,
I'm not going to be okay.
nice. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Powerful. So good.
That's enough.
Mia Aguilera, Mia, put your information to the chat so that people can follow you. Some people who know, I got a thing for fishnets, but I got a thing for calves too. So when she said that calves line and then the balls rise, I was like, oh man, she's working with Big Brother. She knows one of my weaknesses. Make sure you follow Mia. Okay, next coming up, DG Clearing. Now this is a conspiracy, all right? This is a conspiracy. We are at the end of the night. And now we are hearing from DG Clearing.
And it is a pleasure to close out the night. Thank you. You're close to close out. You know, one of the biggest conspiracies is when a government's overthrown is they collect all the poets and throw them in jail or kill them. So remember that. So, you know, this is my team. My team. The vote has been going. The vote is going to be in 2 weeks. Student council president. My team has campaigned with great techniques. They are planners and know what matters. Signs and banners, speeches and pledges. The cheerleaders cheer my name. The choir sings my song. Mark, the quarterback, passes me the ball. The coolest kid, Ray, says, hey, 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 and you're okay. There's only 187 kids in my high school. With endorsements like this, I could not lose. This is real life, like the plays that I've been in. Power and influence. Listen to the people. Vote for their cause. Sing a song of 6 cents. Whoever thought that a nerd like me had a chance? I was in school plays, math and drama club, choir and the band. The athletes never endorsed a nerd. But I know so many people. I'm one of the math tutors. I help the gearheads, the jocks, and the stoners. I help with computers to stop the intruders. This is why I'm the guy, the new leader and not a cheater. Voting day came, there would be no shame. I would win by a landslide. They were all on my side. In secret booths, votes are the truth. One by one, stuffed in a box, we'd find out at the rally. Checked and rechecked, ballots tallied. Sounds in the bleacher told of the victory. All of my friends seemed a little contradictory. The principal said they had counted the votes 3 times. They had tallied in front of the rally. A new council, a new president was elected, selected and accepted. A write-in candidate. Mark had won with a quarterback sneak. What a surprise. How could he do this to me? I'm just such a nice guy. They said his name and I bowed in shame. I was a man for the people and the blow felt lethal. I left in a hurry. They had conspired like a crooked jury. They knew all along they wanted him to sing their song. He would vote for what they wanted, for sports in a better shop, not for a theater, not for nerds, not for a song. They were afraid that someone else would win, so they got on my bandwagon and punctured my tires. In school, we learned about conspiracy theory. I tutored them on what that meant. I lost 141 to 46. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
I love that ending, DG.
Thanks, elect you.
Yes. How you doing, DG? Yo.
Let's go.
Oh, DG, bro.
Yeah.
man, make sure you give him a follow on Facebook. And what he said is so true about the artist going, like a lot of people who know poetry, they're like, oh yeah, Pablo Neruda, yeah, this love poet, he's this, he's that. Like, yo, he was political, man. He got banned from his own country because of stuff he wrote. All right, he's not just this love poet, he's gangster. Go check him out. Okay, Antonio Serrano is next. Antonio is a new voice. He has not been here on the Monday Night Online open mic. Let me unmute him. And I'm gonna yell at him too, man, because yo, this is week number 68. Where you been, Antonio? Like
What's up?
Man? Where you been? I'm happy to have you on. Where you located, brother?
I'm in the Boogie Down Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BX in the building.
This is my first time doing this. Usually just write for fun, but I'm gonna just get right to it.
That's what's up. Oh, wait. Before you go though, hold on. Before you start, you gotta let us know where can the people find you online if you want to share your social media. And then after that, go ahead, rock out.
Absolutely. You can find me. I'll put it in the chat afterwards, actually. All right. This is called My Father is a Hurricane. My father is a hurricane, destroying everything in his path, spinning out of control, leaving behind his wrath, his aftermath. Yet he is still like the eye in the center, commanding, demanding, always moving his agenda. My father is like a hurricane, swift and strong with each passing motion, his darkest secrets revealed from deep down within the ocean, exposing commotion, a devotion to the erosion without a care for any emotion to his own corrosion. Gaining momentum with time, advancing with lies throughout his tenure, wind so strong that it collapses everything to failure. My father is like a hurricane, a newer identity with every appearance, never shaming his previous disappearance. Not sure how he continues to get clearance. Lightning and thunder must be in adherence. A natural disaster, a quality he has mastered, the legacy of a bastard. My father is like a hurricane, a thick and steel exterior, but inside he is so soft and delicate, built to feel inferior. Howling through his pain of poor decisions, trying to stitch up old incisions. Operating life blinded through his clouded visions, he weeps a trail of water, flooding the sounds of his sons and daughter. Hopes and dreams left to slaughter. My father is like a hurricane, gaining viewers and attention with each passing minute, but only leaving an impact to those who are in it. Never satisfied by the chaos left behind, he grows by the category the more he finds. Always looking to place the blame, he often drives himself insane, stuck in a picture frame, soaking in his own disdain, a coward, a lame. My father is like a hurricane, but Mother Nature's final word has no mercy, putting an end to controversy, dismantling the very same thing she helped build. She gracefully sits back and watches it wilt. It ends just as fast as it started, the ocean parted, half-hearted. To her, it's all the same, for the future holds another hurricane, just a different name. Thank you.
Unmute yourself. Give it up for Antonio.
Dope ass debut, homie. Dope ass debut.
One of us. I just do this for fun.
You messed up though, because your Monday nights are just fuck man. Your Monday nights are done now. Forget about it.
Yep. You see, they called Antonio out. Yeah, I just couldn't do it for fun. It's not that serious. Boom! Here is the wrath of God. I love it. Antonio Serrano. You heard some of the people screaming one of us. That means just like Alexis Garcia, you two got to give up your Monday nights, man. You're going to have to come here every week and hang out with us now. That's it. That's especially from the Bronx. Up in the Bronx and Harlem, new voices coming through. It's been a good night. Thank you, Antonio. Put your information into the chat so that people can follow you. Make sure that you do that. Okay. We are now going to get into the waiting list. Shout out to someone named Megan May who just joined us. We still got like about 15, 20 minutes. So I hope you enjoy this, Megan. And shout out to Patty. Hi, Patty. I saw you come in here earlier. Patty got some gorgeous curls. I love her curls. Okay. Next, and she's a writer. I don't know. She's real hesitant to share on the Monday night, but the erotic open mic she shared before, and she comes and she listens and gives support. I love it. Okay, Thomas Connor is next. Where is Thomas? Where is Thomas? I know he's here. I saw him. Oh, Patty put her video on. Look at them curls. I love it. Where's Thomas Connor? There he is. It is a conspiracy, though. Thomas, this baseball season is a conspiracy. How did the Mets keep winning and the Yankees lose? It's a conspiracy, man.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything because it's still kind of early. Well, not really. It's getting close. We'll see.
At this point, we know who the real contenders are and who the real ones aren't. But when it comes to poetry, Thomas, you are a real contender. So let the people know where they can follow you. Like that was smooth, right? Let the people know where they can follow you. Then let's see your poetry.
Yes, you can find me at Facebook, Thomas Connor, and at Instagram, TAC7371. So let's get with it. 12-year war against us. Reagan constituency, casting bodies like lords to the seas. These lords of the eve, capture and weave destruction. Oh Lord, our abduction, villainous, they have no problem killing us. Proof documented, logged for the world to see. See how we bleed in these seas. See how we bleed in these streets. Bodies and bones broken and hollow. Marrow sucked dry to nourish their agenda. They against us. Our fertile crust blows in the wind. We got no winds. They the whale, we Jonah, dining on our fertile crust. We still dying under their weight. Manifest destiny live streamed. These devilish fiends crush Amendment 13. No rabbit's foot to change our luck. Our dreams of freedom interred deep. Damn, we're fucked.
Unmute yourself. Give it
Damn.
up.
Wait a minute.
Drop that there. In the well shit. Talk that Jonah in the well shit. Seafood, tell him.
Snapping. Seafood snapping. I love it.
Y'all gonna get us banned from the internet. That's what this episode's gonna do. It's gonna get us banned from the internet. Thomas Connor, make sure you give that dude a follow. All right, next coming up, I have on the waiting list GK Jairam. Is he still here? Is he? Please tell me. Yes, he is. I see him. And here's another conspiracy. It seems like every time GK Jairam is on the waiting list, we make sure we get to the waiting list. That's a good conspiracy to have. Wait, I'm trying to unmute you. You getting the is it asking you? I'm trying to. Yeah, Ron, can you try to unmute him if you're there, Ron?
Yeah. Oh. Can you hear me?
Yep, got you now. Go ahead. Okay. The floor is yours.
Okay. The title is "This Land is Whose Land?" ? This land was not my land. This land was not your land. But this land is where we landed, and now this land is all we have. We all came, you and I, impelled, propelled, compelled, expelled. I was a slave in the bowels of a ship, seized in my land and chained like an animal, chained by those worse than animals. I was a pilgrim on the Mayflower, fleeing poverty. I was Irish on ships with no names, fleeing potato famine. I was a child packed in a ship, turned away from port to port to escape predators worse than cannibals. A cannibal, after all, eats his prey. This land was not my land. This land was not your land. But this land is where we landed, and now this land is all we have. This land, the song said, is made for you and me. Not you or me, made for you and me. Don't say it after me, say it with me. Let's say it together, say it so often that we come to believe and sing together, this land is for you and me. And oh yes, is it still for you are tired, you're poor, you're huddled masses yearning to breathe free? Thank you.
Unmute yourselves. Give it up.
I want more. I want more.
Nice, GK.
Glad we got a chance to hear your voice tonight, GK.
That was amazing. I want more. I want more.
GK Jairam, this land is for you and me. I appreciate that, man. I like that. GK John Ram, he has becoming a mainstay here at the Monday night online open mic. I appreciate having him on here as well. Y'all understand. Y'all, I get paid for y'all to entertain me. Like, that's the truth. I keep saying it week in and week out, but it's true. Okay, let's continue on with the entertainment. Propaganda Poet, we coming back to you. We got time. We got time.
Well, alrighty then. I guess I need to do a piece. Before I do so, as always, thank you all for being who you are and doing what you do. You make the world a better place, and Lord knows the world needs to be a better place right now. Tonight, I want to especially thank Mr. Tesasomic and Jeff Cottrell because they inspired this piece that I'm about to do. So, for tonight, I would just like to say I am Professor Propaganda, and this will be my masterclass on common sense. So to begin, we must discuss what common sense is. In order for us to understand, we must all understand. So let us look at the definition. Common, something that occurs often or that we all share. Sense, a way to exist and experience things. So if we look at this, we are all together experiencing this. So the problem with common sense is how easily it can be skewed. And this is the thing that we need to discuss this evening. You see, we'll give you a hypothetical situation so you can learn by example. Let us say, hypothetically, there's a group called Foxy Friends. And these Foxy Friends will talk amongst each other and listen to each other. And even though what they're saying may not make sense to other people, it becomes common sense as they continue to speak amongst each other. So to fully understand this idea, we must pan out to the bigger picture. Hypothetically, we'll look at a place called Murica. In this Murica, when we look at the percentage of Foxy Friends, we will see that Foxy Friends is only about 25 to 30% of Murica. So once we look at this, most of Murica will look at the Foxy Friends and say, they got no fucking common sense. So, but in order for us to really truly understand this, we need to pan this out even further. Let us look at this place we'll hypothetically call the Earth. And if we look at the Earth, and we look at all of the people on the Earth, they look at Murica and think, why is it that these people are willing to die for money? Why is it these people are willing to say that money is more important than anything else on the planet? Well, see, when Murica thinks this capitalism thing is common sense, the rest of the Earth looks at it and says, that is profiteering and piracy. See, now we understand global common sense. However, for us to fully comprehend what is happening here, we must pan out even further. Let us look into, say, solar systems, galaxies even. Let us look at this may explain the alien conspiracy. Because if we look throughout the entire history of these Earthlings, we see that going back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, there are always stories of the beings who visit us from the stars. And many, many moons ago, they were revered as gods and angels, and they were bowed down to, and they were listened to create a society. And somewhere during the course of this humanity, this became monsters who were here to invade us and take over. So it thus becomes common sense to stop visiting these assholes. In fact, if the universe looks at common sense, they see that these Earthlings have this capacity for self-destruction on a level that is uncategorized, whether it be globally, nationally, locally, even internally and individually. They are all on this road to self-destruction, and even though they see it happening, they continue going. So, you know what? We're not going to visit this fucking planet anymore. We're going to kick back and wait, and we're going to watch everything go down, and then we're just going to go collect what's left, because that is how common sense works. Thank you. I have been Professor Propaganda, and this has been my master class on common sense.
Yes.
Yes, Propaganda.
I have been masterfully enlightened. The master class. Big up Propaganda. Dope, brother. Dope. Appreciate you, man.
That was phenomenal.
Propaganda,
Propaganda Poet. You can find him on Facebook, Bear Wolf Propaganda. Make sure you put all your information in the chat. All right, I got time for one more poet, and I see Tara Lee is here. Wait, Are you here, Tara? I saw, yep, Tara Lee is here. So shout out. I'm sorry we didn't get to Kavon James, who was here last week. He killed it. Ray Camacho missed out. Jane Spoken Word, she's a badass, man. Jane keeps getting on the waiting list. Jane, you got to sign up earlier. Please, I want to hear you. Shout out to Ed Poetastic. I don't know if he's here or not. He always brings a great deal of energy. And Roz, Paul Skiff had given up his spot for Roz. She's usually here every week. Something must have come up. I hope she's all good. Marissa, I hope you have the information I sent to you. But now we're going to go to Tara Lee. Wait, I just saw her and I lost her. See, on this Zoom thing, I'd be losing people. It'd be sure, and then everyone points at boxes, but not all our boxes look the same. Got it. Tara Lee. Oh, I got that joke. Not all. Okay, forget it. Tara. Hey, I love this woman's name. Because like in the Bronx, we don't pronounce our R's at the end of words, right? So it's like we would say Tara the way we would say her name, Tara. But she's such a sweet, awesome person. Tara, let people know where they can find you in your books. Then let's hear your poetry.
All right, you guys can find me at taralee.com and all this stuff right here. But I'm really proud of my website, taralee.com. That's where you can find the books, which are also on Amazon. I'm gonna stop taking up time and I'm gonna get to my poem. Paul, thank you for your workshop on Saturday. It was awesome. I will definitely read that poem the next time I'm on New Yo, because I wrote to the theme this time. Yes. All right, here goes. High school conspiracy. There she is. 2 puffballs of hair for antennae, emitting the weirdness only I can see. I don't understand her. She knows everyone, but only talks to some, finds her way into every circle. She's so quiet in her corner, but the sun still shines on her. I mean, she did a fencing demonstration for speech class and still got an A. I don't get her, so I run away. And she doesn't seem to care because she's still smiling. She's not top tier, not popular, but everyone knows and loves her. It's gotta be hypnosis. It's gotta be. Because how can you be so likable when you're nothing like the people around you? Thank you, everybody.
That was so sweet and deep. Everyone unmute yourselves. Give it up.
Thank you.
Tara. Oh, that was great. Close it, Tara. Way to close it. Tara.
That
was so
Tara Lee, Tara, make sure you put your information into the chat so that the people can follow you. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned Nathaniel Beck. I think I mentioned him. He had a spot. He had given it up so that other people can rock out tonight. So that also means that we got to hear Tara tonight because Nathaniel backed out. Appreciate you, Nathaniel. Nathaniel is a beast. You better sign up next week, Nathaniel. He is a beast. So make sure we have had such a great night, right? And this is probably going to be our last night because we're going to get kicked off the internet. Just for next week, the topic is Thirst Trap, and it's our 69th episode. Thursday night, La Bruja hosts. She will be back to host at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You can, of course, follow me, Advocate of Words. When you spell words, it's with a Z, W-O-R-D-Z, Advocate of Words. Hopefully, also I'm on YouTube. That's where I'm putting a lot of the highlights. I'm trying to get them up onto Instagram. So, of course, follow New Rican Poets Cafe. Look it up on Facebook and YouTube. You see all of our past open mics, including tonight's. With that being said, as always, we have been doing in season 2. We have been closing out, and we've been closing out with a different voice each night. And tonight, we are going to close out with Marissa Prada, representing New Mexico. All right, Marissa, do you have the, do you have it?
I have it.
It's all yours. Take us home.
All right. Good night, sweet poets. Thank you for sharing what you've written. Good night, sweet poets. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Good night, sweet poets. May your dreams be imaginative as tonight's poems. Good night, sweet poet. Thank you for inviting the spirit of Miguel Agarin into your home. This has been the Monday Night Online Open Mic presented by the Norican Poets Cafe, hosted by the delicious Advocate of Words. On behalf of the community tonight, I, Marissa Prada, would like to say the truth is out there. Good night, sweet poets. Peace.